Should I put my mask on, or do we want to meet 6 foot distances?
Rolling, and rolling. Okay.
I got a feeling we're going to sabotage you. You know that.
Hey,
and we're going to use some of this conversation as the opener to the interview. As a matter of fact, I think I just proved that point, didn't I? I think it's long about January, everybody, that my wife and I, we wait for that one winter day when it's not snowing. We put the top down in the car, we drive up to Warrensburg. It's about that time that I start thinking to myself, I'm not too many months from now, I'm going to be doing my favorite visit of all year long, and that's to see my friend Jim Cronin here at Cronins Golf Resort in Warrensburg. Hey, first I want to thank you for wearing the mask. It looks terrific on you, by the way. Or is that your mustache?
That's the new mustache, yeah. It's a little grayer each year, but God bless America.
So we're here. Jim, you and I have been around the block, as your mustache and my beard attest, right? We never saw this coming. We saw Man on the Moon, we went through Nixon, we went through Vietnam, we went through everything. We never saw this coming.
No.
And it just sort of radically changed the way we just really thought about doing business and stuff, right? Kind of give us an update. People will want to come to the Adirondacks. It's an escape from the more congested areas, right? Outdoor sports are rising to the top. Golf is right up there now because just by nature, you're out on your own. You can do the social distancing thing, and whatever. Give me some of the steps that you've taken when you knew you were going to open and you were starting to face this.
Well, 2 years ago, the river kicked the sugar out of us, and we were kind of caught. Last year, we had a lot of winter injuries, so that was tough with the ice laying on the greens. Right. This year, we come out of it, boy, we were smelling like roses. The course is in beautiful shape. And then April 6th, because of this COVID or the coronavirus, the pandemic that has been around all of us, we were forced to close for a while. The weather was iffy, but I maintained the course. We come out of it, again, smelling nicely. And then you could not use carts. We couldn't do this, we couldn't do that. We're following the guidelines through the CDC and New York State. I think we all are trying to use common sense. We're sanitizing daily, all the tables, all the pull carts, the carts. We're all sprayed down. We're wiped with a hydrogen peroxide and a sanitizer. Restrooms, inside, outside, anything you do, you try to keep it clean. Try to use common sense. And I think most of our customers are pretty happy just to be out, and that's the thing. But the course is in great shape. People are enjoying themselves today. The weather is starting to turn. I have delusions of grandeur.
Well, that sounds about right for all the years I've known you, right?
Why not?
And I was doing the math. I think we were talking about, you're dangerously close to 75 or 80 years of owning, not you personally, I don't think.
I wasn't here the first few years.
But the idea that this place is it's such a sanctuary. I mean, I say that in various ways every year, Jim, but coming here is it's a piece of heaven. And the fact that, knowing you and knowing Sage and knowing Johnny and knowing how you handle your business and how much you care about the people that come here. We were watching Sage this morning. She's cleaning everything. And she was telling me that you're using a disinfectant that says it's good for 90 days and you're using it every day.
Well, it's kind of odd to think anything would last 90 days. But this hydrogen peroxide combination with a couple different acids is accepted by the is it CDC that we were talking about?
Right. Yes.
And if you take care of the right things, I think you can keep things going. We don't know. This is all, I'm not going to say it's a brave new world, but it's a different world.
Yes.
And we are pretty much forced to follow certain guidelines.
Yes.
And I think if we use our common sense, as I just mentioned, I think we'll get through this. Things are starting to lighten up. We can have dining outside now. We keep our 6 foot social distancing. People are so glad to get out, and
That's right.
As I mentioned to you earlier, a gal from Maine walked through the clubhouse earlier this month, and she said, "Draft beer. I haven't had a draft beer in 2 months." I said, "Well, after you get done playing golf, perhaps you can sit out on our edge and have a cold legal beverage." But things are starting to click, and the people are starting to respond, and people realize golf is a healthy venue.
Boy, it sure is. I would imagine that tournaments have been either postponed or or canceled outright, right?
A lot of our outings, unfortunately, have been canceled because of the social distancing. We have lost many of them, and a lot of them want to reschedule, but it's still early to see, and it's also early to plan. We have our annual Ladies Breast Cancer Awareness Tournament in mid-July, and we're still, are we going to do it? Are we not going to do it? Sure. Also, you don't want to hit all these customers up that we've been asking for donations. Most of these venues themselves are in dire straits. So how do you say, hey, can you do this, can you do that? So we'll have to reevaluate how we're going to do it. The different outings, different groups that have been coming up. We have a group coming up in a couple of weeks from Long Island. The gentleman called me up, do you really want us to come? We're a hotbed here, and we don't want you to, and as we are in the tourist business, we want you to come, but hey, if you're ill, stay home. If you're not comfortable, then but we'll take care of you. And if you have one to a cart, or if you're family members, you can ride together. You just follow the guidelines, you know.
Yes,
and
right, sure.
We'll get through all this. It's hey, we're not done yet. We've been here for 75 years, and maybe another 75.
Oh, you're going to keep having me come back every year
every
for the
year.
next
We're gonna
75 years?
We want to make sure that we both have gray beards, and we can maybe have, well, I don't want to say wheelchairs, but maybe they can wheel us in.
You know what I think the biggest problem is going to be is that it'll take us 10 minutes to get through a sentence. So we're going to have to allocate more time on media platforms to be able to cover the interview. You know, I just want to reiterate the fact that, you know, when we arrived here this morning, a lot of care was being taken into just making sure that the safety protocols are being followed. And not just followed, but actually exceeded, which is very typical of his personality and many people who work here. Just to ensuring people who live here that it's a safe environment to come in. And then you mentioned the fact that it's golf, and it's healthy, and it's outside, and it just naturally gives itself to social distancing and whatever. You know, there are places you can play golf, and then there's Cronins. And I know it sounds like an infomercial, but it's not. Anybody who's been here will attest to it. You know, I said to Sage this morning, I said, anybody ever been an a-hole when they come up here? I can't imagine. Everybody just has such a good time when they come here. And this morning, the group of guys outside, some group of guys just having the best time. You know, what do you do to foster that kind of camaraderie?
My customers police the place. I can sit back and watch, and we get rid of the bad seeds. So hey, it works. Hey, let me also mention to you quickly that the guidelines that the New York State Golf Association, the USGA, recommend as far as taking your cups, turning them upside down. Our pins are locked in. Our pins don't need to be touched anymore. We wipe them down. When my guy changes the cups each day, he wipes them down with the sanitizer. There's no ball washers. We have no drinking water on the course. The rakes have been taken out. One of my associates, he's raking the traps in the morning. Hey, we're trying to make it comfortable for people. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll get through this, you know.
I got you.
Delusions are grander. Hey,
I love that you say that.
Good
you
stuff.
say that a lot. You know, and one thing that my wife and I are looking forward to is they got the best tuna wrap with black olives. By the way, if you request it, if Jeannie decides to do the black olives, okay, and come up here, come up to Cronins. It's a sanctuary for sure.
Hey,
best of luck to you. It's great to see you as always.
Yeah.
I'll see you next week. All right.
We'll be poking. All right.
Happy birthday.
Take care. Hey, thank you. Another
Coming up,
milestone.
The 13th.
You got it, kiddo.
Okay, everybody, you want to see this interview again, you can go to our website, looktvonline.com. You going to teach me to play golf or what?
You leave my tennis racket in my car, and you leave your golf clubs in the back of your Mercedes. We're all set. All good.